So, what makes T5 good and why are they so hyped up to be the best thing in Call of Dragons? Today, in this video, we're going to be answering that question, so be sure to stick around because we'll be diving through what makes T5 so strong, how to unlock them, and what the best faction is when you finally do reach them. What is up, guys? MEOWER here, back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So we finally unlocked our T5 last stream. During the last SLE, we finally unlocked our two of our T5s, which are Ballistas and Vestals, and now we're gonna unlock Swordsman real quick, just as a cherry on top for this video. So be sure to drop a like and subscribe for as a as helping me celebrate this moment. Of course, T5 is the final roadblock for me in terms of growth in on this account for now, other than of course just upgrading my commanders, my artifacts, maintenance modes. I did explain what maintenance mode is. Oh, that's weird. I did explain what maintenance mode is last video, but if you don't know, it's basically just maintaining my account into shape and making sure I have everything that is good and ready for maxing whenever I possibly can. So now we're gonna pick up this quest. We finally unlocked our third T5, and now we're only missing one more T5 for us to unlock. Speaking of unlocking T5, we're now gonna be discussing what makes T5 so good. Now, it is not a secret that T5 is basically the highest tier of troops in the game right now. In terms of base stat, when you compare them to T4s, they have much higher base stats than everywhere across the board except for slower march speed. Because when you have the higher tier you are, the slower your march speed really is. You'll notice the difference between T5 and Tier 1 is pretty significant, but the difference between T5 and T4 is not that big as initially thought. But what makes T5 or having T5 in general so strong is the technology. Now, when you are unlocking T5, you basically need every single tech in both tech trees maxed all the way to unlocking assault strategies 2. And then if you want to unlock ballistas, you're going to need to unlock sharp points 2 and marksman 2 all the way to the max. Then you can research ballistas. Same for every single types of T5. So in order to do that, you need College of Order 25, and for you to have College of Order 25, you basically need one of every single building level 25 in order for you to be able to get College of Order 25, which in turn will allow you to research Assault Strategies 2, which you need every single technology in the economy tree in order to go past Assault Strategies to level 7. As for time, how long that would take, it will depend on how big of a spender you are. But roughly, the entire tech tree takes around or requires around. I think the number was something like 6 to 8 years worth of speed ups, maybe all the way to 10 years worth of speed ups. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But I think that was the requirement for it in order for you to unlock a single T5. But yeah, this is for unlocking T5. But what makes T5 so great? Basically, when you are T5, you get access to, of course, the best troop in the game in terms of every single stat. They have the best multipliers for technology as well because of their already high base stat. They get the best multipliers as well. So the way the multipliers work is that they function based on your current base stat and then they improve it based on that. So, for example, I have over 100% attack from all sources, so my mages are getting over 300%, over 300 flat damage, which goes higher because of my higher base stat. But when I go to T4, I still have the same percentage, but the base stat is even better, is slightly lower than T5, so I'm getting more value as a T5 player from the technology, and every single percentage counts even better, making the gap between T5 and T4 pretty significant, especially later on in the game. If both players have the same technology, but you'll notice that T5 performed better every single time. And I'll even show you a report in order to back up my claim in this. Let's see if we can find it here. I did a sparring with my good friend Burning. He was full T5. I was basically half T5 and half T4. Let's see if we can find this report here. Um, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Scout? No, not Scout, not Scout, not Scout. Oh, the report is gone. But basically, what the report was is that he was running 200,000 T5, I was running 200,000 T4, but it wasn't even close, even though we had no artifacts, and we were pretty much running basically almost the same commanders. We both have fully maxed out Nico Canaras, so the only different variables were that I was running half T4, half T5, or less than half T5 and even more than half T4, and he was running full T5, and he had the Wilderberg faction, while I had the League of Order faction. Now, first of all, T5 are pretty expensive to train and maintain, which is not a secret, especially in terms of mana and ore, two of the hardest resources to come by, but ore you can receive from your allies, or you can loot, while mana you can't really gain it from anywhere else except from your except from gathering or from your items or buying bundles, etc., etc., etc. However, mana is always the biggest problem in Call of Dragons, even when healing. T5 are also extremely expensive to heal, so it's really hard to maintain them. Even as a mid spender like I am personally, I still cannot go crazy, mainly because they take so long in training. So a single T5 batch takes 1 day and 15 hours, while a single T4 batch takes 1 day and 1 hour, making it an over 50% extra time to train a single batch of T5. However, they are still extremely worth it. And if you ever ask me what should I rush first in Call of Dragons, I would say rush your way towards unlocking T4, then rush your way towards unlocking T5, and of course, start working on your commanders in the meanwhile, because later on in the game, when everyone eventually has T5, the differentials will be the little things, because as we saw, their base stats are really high, so any percentage you have over your enemies are going to make a big difference. That is why, for example, I rushed awakening my commanders over unlocking my T5s when I was so close in terms of technology, because I knew that commander wise it's going to pay off better in the long term, because commanders are harder to unlock than and upgrade than it is to train T5 and maintain them. Now, what is the best faction for T5? Right now, I am pretty much a T5 player, so I will be switching towards the Wilderberg faction, mainly for a few reasons. Starting off, their troops just have better buffs overall. They gain better damage, especially in archers, and mages provide attack. And of course, I can run two archer marches, which should go well with my current march setup that I do want to run. I do want to run Nico Hosk Nico Kenora as my primary archer march, Madeline Nika, Lilia Velen, Bakshi Emrys, and then I want to try out Hosk Fregar, because my Fregar is 5551, which will be 5553 during her next Wheel of Fortune, and then I will eventually have her awaken just from the wheel, not having to invest a single universal token in it. Plus, the buffs from Wilderberg troops are just so much better for PvP combat than the something like the League of Order or the Spring Wardens, which pretty much amplifies T5's effectiveness even more. So we're going to be switching right now towards our Wilderberg faction. We'll see here, this is the Unicode version. We'll notice that the difference here is that they, from having magic vestals, do provide HP, while Satyr Witches provide attack instead. We can see here the base stat differentials, if there is any base stat differentials between them. It's just mainly the primary skill, and of course, that skill is pretty much the main difference we're switching. So now that we have switched towards the Wilderberg, It's going to cost us 10,000 gems, but again, it is very much worth it. And the game is now restarting to show our switch. But basically, in short and in summary, T5 are worth rushing. They are worth the hype. Just having T4 with T5 tech when you fight against a T5 player, it's gonna melt you basically because of how, especially if they are running the Wilderberg faction. Of course, we're gonna have to switch up this layout. I don't like it at all, but we're gonna have to switch it up for sure. But yeah, if you like content like this, please don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video with your friends, of course. And I will see you in the next video. Meow meow.